Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my first impressions and a sort of intro into Tharsis. Now, Tharsis is a dice-based strategy game-ish type of thing, and, well, I think it's best to read you the description that I've been provided with here, and then, right then, allow me just to bring it up on the other monitor here. So, it says, imagine Darkest Dungeon meets FTL with dice. Kind of. It's not exactly telling the full story, but that's sort of the gist of it. Essentially with quite a bit of RNG, but RNG that you can influence. Namely, you can sort of determine the outcome, you can re-roll the dice, etc., etc. You are tasked with making tactical, difficult decisions with, again, a bit of luck thrown in there, and a lot of plan changing on the go, and a lot of things to manage at the same time. Now, the reason I'm bringing you this video now, and not a few years ago, I think, is when Tharsis was released, is because the game is now coming out on Switch, and the developers have provided me with a key to sort of test out for myself and tell you what I think. So, what has changed since the, it says in the email, 2106 release? I'm pretty sure that's 2016 release, but yeah, never mind. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of the stuff like this in the least. I make typos all the time, but I just found it funny considering that it's, you know, a game about the future anyways. Well, at least the near future. So, what happened is they've added an easy mode, which I'm going to try out, and this is not essentially just dumbing the game down. They've actually sort of, how do I describe this? Well, there used to be only two modes, normal and hard, and what they've done is normal is now normal, and now there's an easier mode, but they've made hard mode even harder, right? So, instead of having two difficulty levels, they added three, with the hardest one being harder than the previous one, than the previous hardest one, and you get the general idea of it. So we're going to play on easy, because, you know, you're a wimp. Nah, this game is difficult. This game is stupidly difficult, sometimes. You know, it depends on luck to a decent degree, but this game is bloody difficult. I've played on normal, and I've made it, you know, quite a bit through. Sorry about that. I've played on normal, one run prior to this one, and I've made it a fair bit of the way through, but I didn't manage to get to the end goal. I think I managed to get around there-ish? I think I was there. No, it was there I died. This is where things went horribly wrong, and this is where I died. Alright, but you know, there's a story to the game, and I won't focus on it. I'll skip through the cutscenes because it is rather interesting, but it is a bit short. This is the real focus of it. Now, here's the thing. There are a metric ton of things to keep in mind as you're playing. So, we're going to start off with the ship, and there is a great tutorial, by the way. There's also video tutorials provided, you know, links to, you can find them in the game. But there is an actual proper tutorial in the game, and it's really, really decent. It shows you pretty much everything that you need to know, and it equips you with all the knowledge that you need to tackle the tasks ahead. So, assists are not entirely all too relevant right now. We'll forget about those for a minute. Food, starting over here, is basically what replenishes the dice. These boxes here are the dice. That's how many dice they will throw once they get deployed to deal with the problem. And that is essentially what this game is about. It is about dealing with problems. So let's deploy, and I think I'll explain it most easily here. Essentially, what you do when you deploy with your crew member is just roll the dice, right? And now, the sort of decision-making, I suppose, begins. So, if we roll a 1, this dice goes into stasis, which means it cannot be re-rolled. If you click the roll button again, you re-roll the same 3 dice, just FYI. Next time this crew member gets to deploy, she will only roll 2 dice, unless we feed her or you know, something else happens. There are some abilities that allow for more dice. There are some modules that allow for more dice, etc., etc. But all of the things being equal, she will roll 2 instead of 3. Now, we need 11 to repair the meteorite strike thing. That's quite a bit. So, luckily, we have 11 here. Now, it seems like a fairly straightforward thing, right? All you do is just, you know, and you're done. Well, not necessarily. We have a 1 here, and in this situation, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to repair the damage, and that's about it. But that's not the end of the story for most of these kind of encounters, and we'll see those in the future. So let me just repair this, because I think that's the best possible choice of action, because now our crew can move through the ship back here to repair the vitality sensor something rather. Okay, and we're going to do that with the captain here. Oh, captain, my captain. So, let's roll the dice, I think. And good. Well, not so good. 2 of the dice are in stasis. This means that they cannot be re-rolled. However, we have 2 6s as well. Now, this requires 8 to fix. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 6 in there, and then we're going to take a look at the following. So we can't re-roll these 2, and we can't really use them for much else. So let's just put them into the repair thing, and the event is complete. But we can also do this, or this. Now, for the current situation, this is a little bit of a no-brainer, because we're in medbay, and medbay is sort of the place where you heal naturally, right? So what we can do is we can use a 5+ dice, if we still have one, if not we can re-roll, to restore health to full for the active crew members. Active being here, I believe, in this place. So that's exactly what we're going to do. On the other hand, we could also use the character ability, and he can use this anywhere on the ship, not just in the medbay, +1 health to crew in the module. Now here, it's, you know, he's the only one in the module, so using this would be foolish, so we're going to do this, and he's on full health, right? Easy. And there we go. But that's not it. We still have 2 crew members that haven't done anything. And we really desperately need them to do something, though not doing anything is also kind of an option, or is it? I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, well, makes sense, I'll explain why. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and try and harvest food. No, we're going to try and regain dice, that's the more prudent option. So let's roll 2 of them. Right. Essentially what we're looking for is either 5 or 5+, or 2 of the same. I'm going to re-roll once more. Well, we didn't get 2 of the same, because that will allow us to replenish the dice, which will be really helpful for next turn, but instead we have these. So we can get +1 hull, or we can put both of them in research. Now, once you fill out the research thing, amazing things start to happen. Now, basically, it is important, plus it's kind of a good way to dump dice that you don't need for anything else, is to throw them in research. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to finish deployment. And we have 1 more, I believe, that can do something, and that's the captain. Now, what can we do with the captain? I guess we can deploy the captain here. Now, in order to get food, you need 3 of the same dice, which is kind of tricky, but Here's the thing, you don't need to get them immediately. You can store the dice here, and then in the future, someone else will come along and, you know, maybe he'll get more 2s. On we go then to the next turn, but before we progress, there is this event, which essentially lets you choose the less bad of 2 evils, I suppose, kind of. And that is, you can reduce health, you can reduce stress of all crew, but lose 1 hull point, or you can gain 2 hull points, but reduce 1 dice for everyone. Currently, hull is a resource as much as anything else is, and we have 3 of those, so yeah, I'll go with this. And here comes the food. That's all the food we have for now, which means he's going to be hungry, and more importantly, he's not going to have a lot of dice. Food equals extra dice for the next turn, basically. Alright, but if you think food's a problem now, it is a problem that we can solve. Not exactly ethically, if you catch my drift, but it is a problem that can be solved. Okay, let's roll the dice here and see what fate has in store. Now, these are hazards. I haven't really talked about those or the assists. Hazards are basically, if you get a 5, he gets an injury. If you get a 4, the dice itself is destroyed. Assist negates the first out of these 2. Injury being worse, this is kind of what we want. Injury basically just takes away health. But yeah, so now re-rolling dice is kind of dangerous. Anyways, this is quite a lot. 6 and a 5, that's quite nice. Let's put those in here, and now we're looking for a 5. But we're not, we're really looking for a 6. 4 gets void. Alright, that's it. Nothing more we can do. Now what? Well, I suppose we can send you over here and roll and see what we get. And what we get is void. Interesting. Alright, one more. Injury. Okay. But we can still use the dice to repair, and that's about it. Not great, not terrible. BGA stasis failure, though. Let's try and fix that up. And they're all void. Extremely lucky, but extremely unlucky at the same time. Turns out we're going to have to suffer 1 damage, mostly due to the fact that, well... yeah. We didn't have a lot of luck at all. There we go. +1 food, -1 dice for these 2. Now, the thing is, he already has 1 dice, and you cannot have less than 1, so I think this is a good trade. And we'll give 3 to the specialist. I think, there we go. But there are new events, and I think this is slowly the beginning of the end for us. But let's go over here and try and fix this first. Now, not all damage on the ship reduces hull. Some of it just disables the module, some of it has like debuffs that it impacts on the crew, but generally speaking, you want to repair everything if possible. Thing is, though, it's not really possible. So, yeah. Regaining dice with this crew member is not entirely useful, so I'm going to do that instead. And by the way, I'm by no means an expert at this. Essentially, I have no idea what I'm doing, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. Excellent. Here's hoping I can get something that's not a 5 event, though. No. Yeah, you know, once is unlucky, 4 times is ridiculous. But yeah, if we don't fix this, we're gonna lose health, or we're gonna lose the game. Sorry, not health, quite the opposite. So yeah, let's do that, and we can put a 2 in our research, and we can put a 2 over there. That's going to be useful eventually, I would think. And, yeah, everyone takes 1 HP of damage, but that's not the worst thing ever. And sure enough, we can increase their stress. Now, cannibalism is also an option, as you can see, and I'm going to do it just for the sake of showing you what it does. So it reduces the max health, which for the beginning isn't exactly all that terrible, but it gives you dice, right? And when you don't have food, that's good, but then there's also the option to kill one of the crew members, and it's really tempting, because usually you have more crew members than dice, and you need dice more than you need active crew members. So, anyways, there you go. I think that's pretty much the gist of the game. There's a variety of events that you get, different fail conditions and so on and so forth, but that's essentially the TLDR of it. Again, bearing in mind that you don't get the same events. This is all procedurally generated. You don't get the same events on every week to Mars and so on and so forth. So, let's go and fix stuff again. Yeah, the dice are now red. How cool is that? Come on. So, I'm going to put them on food mostly, because I think I've pretty much given up on this run as a whole. Yeah, I've just straight up given up on this run at this point after the 6 times we've lost dice due to the same thing. We've rolled like 6 5s in a row, which is ridiculous. And he's dead. Oh, he's almost dead. Alright. There we go. Not great, but, I mean, he only has 1 health, but, you know, not much that we can do about that. He's actually going to die due to this, so, yeah. Oh well, I guess more food for us later. Everything is a resource. Truly everything is a resource. Yeah, I suppose that's alright. And let's fix this as well. Roll once again. 2 of those are void, but we do get that, so I suppose that's alright. And, you're dead. There we go, like I said, I'm going to skip those for you, and, yeah, this is good. I reckon this is good. And we're going to save 1 food, so yeah, with 3 hungry mouths to feed, this is actually slightly, well, it's not better, but it's different. Anyways, not going to make it that far at all, apparently, this turn, but, there you go. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, you can move through these if they're damaged, but you take, you lose health if you move, for example, from there to there. You're going to lose 1 health to do that, and you're going to lose 2 up there, because he moves past 2 damaged modules. But there you go, that's basically the game. Is it, replayable? Hell yeah. Is it something that appeals to me personally? I don't really like RNG all that much, but the fact that this is a dice game and it's sort of like a... It feels kind of like a single-player board game that you play against the odds rather than against someone or like a system or something along those lines, but you sort of play against the odds, if that makes, play against the dice. And it is intriguing. Plus the variety of events and the different difficulties and the fact that you can unlock stuff and that there is progression in the game in that sense does, I think, warrant attention if you are into something like, I believe the game was called Dicey Dungeons or something along those lines that released recently, where you had to fight things with dice. Sort of similar mechanics to this, except you're not in a space station, you're in a, sort of like a Dungeons & Dragons environment, and you're using various numbers of dice to fight enemies with different abilities and so on and so forth. This is kind of, I would say, in that sort of genre, if that makes sense, even though that's not technically a genre, but you know what I mean. Anyways, but yes, that's been Tharsis, and do I recommend the game? For anyone that has an interest in this sort of dice-based RNG playing against the odds type of gameplay, yes, there is a decent bit of content here, but it does get kind of I don't want to say gets kind of samey, because the game is extraordinarily complex, and my understanding of it right now is extremely limited. The tactical deployment of where you put what on which turn, and which crisis you allow to persist, and which ones you need to solve, that's, like, problematic, and there's quite a lot to learn. But, yeah, let's use Shuffle. Oh. Right, you can also use these things. Use a small batch of lab-grown rashes, +1 food, +1 assist, +1 health. I guess we're gonna use this? No? Anyways, you can also use these down here, which probably would have made things a little bit more helpful last turn. Now, though, they're not all that useful. This is what you use research for, by the way. Anyways, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Let's try again. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be about it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned with the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.